Welcome to the Locarno 2020 Q&A short filmmakers discussion, conversation, group presentation. I'm live from Berlin, Studio 13, and I'm joined here by 4 filmmakers showing films in Locarno 2020. And I'm doing Zoom for the first time, so if I look awkward in my interfacing with the camera, I apologize. I may never use it again. So first, I would like to go around and maybe have everyone who is here say their name, introduce themselves, say the name of their film, and where they are, because we are not, as the home audience might think, in the same place. That's just editing that's being done seamlessly by our technical staff, Amanda and Elena. Shout out to them. Yes, go ahead and we'll go around from one person to the next.
Hi, my name is Aylin. I'm Turkish and Swiss. I'm in Switzerland right now, not so far from Locarno. And the name of my film is Spirits and Rocks, an Azorian Myth. It's a graduation film, and I don't have a fun fact yet, but I will think of it.
And yeah, you can tell us in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, who else?
Hi, my name is Octav Chelaru. I'm in Romania, but not in Bucharest, where I live. Actually, I'm on scouting for my debut feature film. I was with my crew 10 minutes ago, and now I've came to the hotel to have this conversation. I want to thank you for selecting the film, whoever is in charge of doing this. It was a great surprise for me when I got the phone call, and I'm happy to be with you here. I saw all your movies. I think they're very, very beautiful. I feel like an outsider looking at the fourth film. All the 4 films, mine looks a bit like it's different, but I'm not sure if it's in a good way different. But yeah, I'm happy to be here and to meet you. I was hoping to meet people, to make friends in real life, but that's the situation right now.
Hi, I am Sorayos Prapapan. You can call me Yossi, YOSSY. The short film I made is called, let's Google say it for me.
Digital Funeral Beta version.
Yeah, so it's called Digital Funeral Beta version. Yeah. Oh, I'm from Thailand.
I'm Mahde Hasan from Bangladesh. Now I am in the capital city of Bangladesh. It is called Dhaka. And my film is a boring film, you already know. And actually I want to make you bored. I feel that you're bored enough to watch my film.
Okay. Cool. And I am also a filmmaker, but I am not showing a film in Locarno this year. And have not previously shown a film in Locarno, but I have made other films in the US, some short films and some short feature films. And now I'm in Germany at the moment, in Berlin, and I was working on a film here in German last year and this year. And actually, that was something I wanted to talk about first. I thought maybe we could talk about something kind of, maybe start slightly general and then get more specific as we go along. And Octav just mentioned that he's now planning to make a feature. So maybe you guys could talk about why you made short films, why the length, why this shape, if it was something inherent about the form that you were interested in, or what kind of guided you to the length that you ended up working in, because it's a good. I'm a fan of the short form and things that are shorter and succinct and that sort of economy of narratively or visually or whatever. And yeah, I'm just curious as to what led you guys to do shorts rather than longer films for the moment. And anyone can jump in with that first broad topic.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it's me. So short films. Actually, I don't watch as many short films as I would want. I watch mostly feature films and series, of course, like everybody. But in Romania, there is a system in place where you have to have some. It's a point-based system. So in order to get your debut feature financed, you have to have some points gathered from short films. So that's the practical reason, which doesn't interest you as much as yeah. But as a format, I like the fact that in short films, especially when you watch a chunk of 5 or 6 in a film festival, it's very tiring because your mind has to jump in from one story and get into another, and that actually emphasizes how big is their depth, how important is this world that the short film creates. So I'm doing shorts also. This is my 5th, basically. Mm-hmm. And the next one would be a feature. I don't know what I will do next because I might like features better than shorts, but I'm not sure. The work is quite heavy. Yeah, so there's a practical reason for me, but also some experimentation you can do with short film. In a shorter format, you can try something new in story and film language, sound, acting. And if it doesn't work, it's just another experiment you have done. It's a trial and error process.
No one's not selecting this.
I don't know who is, but I agree with Octav about the experimentation aspect. I would add that it's challenging because we have to make a point and we have to do it in a limited amount of time. So yeah, I like the challenging parts. And yeah, on a more personal note, I would say that I prefer short film because I have a quite short attention span. So yeah, I really enjoy sometimes doing the binge watching of short films at home. So.
Although this was made within the context of a study program, no?
Yeah. I didn't mention my film because I feel like it's the worst answer because I made a short film because I had to in order to graduate. Of course, I was also interested in the subject, but I didn't have the option to make a feature film.
Mm-hmm. That's a good outside limitation being imposed, maybe.
Also, yeah, and I feel like I'm not ready to make a feature yet. I'm working on another short film. Mm-hmm. We'll see, maybe in the next years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I interest in both short and feature, but the reason I make more of short film maybe because I don't have much story to tell. Mm-hmm. I think it deserves to be short. But if I focus, there is a story that I have a lot of detail to talk, it must be a feature that I guess why I'm doing this. Just that.
For me, short films are not the preparation for feature film. I don't think like this because it is actually a strong medium to express our inner thoughts. And it is possible because in feature film, I am working on my feature film right now in pre-production, in development. And I feel that there are many aspects in a feature films like producing or some kind of another kind of practical pressures. But in short film, you can do whatever you want to do. And the pure expressions can be possible through the short films. Mm-hmm. That's why I make films.
Do you feel
yes, it is possible in feature film too, but I felt personally, and when I talk to people, that it is possible to be much more fresher in short films. in the sense of thoughts and philosophical aspects. And personally, I don't believe in the length, and length is a dogma that it can be 300 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah. Another thing that was, I guess, a kind of general thing, but maybe we can bring us more to individual things in the films that I wanted to get into, was how each of these films has very specific places that we're seeing and very specific sites. One of them, Yossi is in right now. Maybe he could start. I mean, I'm just curious as to a little bit about how you came to these locations. They're each very unique and individual. I'm also, I'm curious about all of them in different ways, maybe which I will throw out as we go along the line of people. But yeah, maybe you want to talk about what we're seeing in these films. Where are these places, and what your personal connection is, for example, or why you chose that over another. I mean, are we actually, in the beginning of your film, are we on the roof of your building?
Yeah. So okay, I made this film because actually it is a VR film, which is my first VR ever, and so it's a workshop at that building, which is Alliance Française Bangkok. So I just attend the workshop, knowing nothing about VR and just want to record something. And actually, my previous short film, which it was in Locarno last year, also shot at that Alliance building at the rooftop. So I don't know, I just borrowed the VR camera to shot the atmosphere of that at that day. And
VR camera?
Sorry?
You break the VR camera?
Yeah, so it was a VR camera. So it was at a workshop. So the speaker gave us lend us the 5 VR to hey, you guys have 1 week to make one VR film. So the first time I received the camera, I just go up to the rooftop and shot something, and I borrowed the speaker, what do you call, monopod. Yeah. And I never worked with monopod before, so the camera fell. That's why, okay, at least it recorded. So I start the concept. Okay, I have this footage. And the second scene is what in my room. This is the real room, this room. So I stay in this house since I was born, but I have this room when I was around 18, which is mean I stay in this place for 15 years around that. Okay. And so yeah, it's my bedroom, and I think since it's a VR and my bedroom is pretty narrow, so at T60 you can record all things. So I don't know, and back then I just want to make whatever in this room only. Yeah.
There's a good tradition of people making films in their own bedrooms, and music too. So, is someone else wants to jump in and talk about their?
I can.
Yeah, yours is maybe a little bit further away from your home.
Yeah, it's very far. For me, during the last semester of my master program, I was in Lisbon, Portugal, and I was looking for a place where people would be in a kind of conflictive relationship with the landscape, with the lands. And then I saw the photo of this Pico volcano on this island, this volcano here. And I was incredibly attracted to it. So I bought my tickets the same day, and I just went there. And I don't know, it really fascinated me. And I talked to some other people and who felt the same way about it. It has some kind of attraction of people on people. And yeah, when I arrived there, I was really fascinated by the landscape and the way the weather changes a lot, the light that keeps changing, the sun, everything. yeah. So.
Did you spend much time there? How much time did you spend there?
Not so much, actually. We didn't have a lot of time. We only had 3 or 4 months to shoot, but I had to go back to Lisbon because we had meeting with the teachers, so I kept going back and forth. I think I went the first time I went for a few days, and then the shooting lasted less than 2 weeks, which was enough, but yeah, I wish I could have stayed longer, for sure.
You should cut to the next person. Yeah, Octav, I very much like this hotel that you found. Or what is this place? And I also want to say I very much like the part of your film where everyone is wearing these bathrobes.
Yeah, actually
wearing more bathrobes.
Yeah, actually the location chose me in a way, because I initially the screenplay was about the same IT specialist that goes and helps this big politician, and then he turns the table on him. And we needed an office to shoot the conversation between the guy and the politician. And the producer of the film, Livia, had a friend who had a spa hotel with a pool. And in that spa hotel, there was an office. And as we were scouting for the office, we were keep looking at the hotel and the spa. And I said, okay, this has to be the location. Forget about the office. We are doing a spa film. And we had a lot of choices in rooms. There were this kind of treatments with mud, all these kinds of electrical massage, and this yoga rooms and all that. But we chose the bathrobe, and actually, as we were going in and out, thinking about how we were going to shoot, characters from our film, like big politicians, weird drivers, dubious drivers, they actually started appearing around there. So then I thought, okay, so this location is really for these types of persons that meet, and the cliche with the mobsters talking secrets next to the pool, so the microphones cannot record their conversation. And I like that idea that there's a kind of power that they have, but it's not like it's not a ugly or a beautiful place. It's just something they find familiar with their type of power, and that was the basically I changed everything after I saw the spa. I've changed the script and everything happened there.
Okay, yet to hear about these sort of ruinous buildings that we're seeing in a boring film, which I did not find so boring. But
okay, back in 2017, that time I confined myself in my place, and it was almost 3 months I was in my place. And during that time, I looked through my window and I watched people outside my housing, and I thought that I can find out what an individual do in modern urban housings. So I started to capture myself through my camera, and you can say it's self-video, like self-portrait. And I started to record the sounds, the urban sounds, the chaos parallelly. And I got many footages from my domestic place, from the local Jew, from the slaughterhouse, from the city street. But when I put them in my timeline, I couldn't get a real scenario that time. I mean, I couldn't manage it. So I left it. But in 2020, when the pandemic just started, that I was confined in my home again, and I felt that my surrounding, my family, my city people, or all the world confined in their homes somehow. It is the reality, new reality for us. And I...
Oh no. This happened during the test. He disappeared for a bit because his computer has an issue with Zoom. Everyone will remember what he was saying until he stopped.
Of course.
and then when he comes back, he will pick up just where he left off, and there'll be a seamless edit. But I guess we could just move on to another topic until he returns. Something that I also was wanting to talk about was how you all work in a general or in a specific way, because some of you are working with scripts, and some of you maybe are working in a less, or maybe in a more intuitive way. Like, Aylin, when you were in the Azores, did you have a shot list, or were you just intuitively going around and filming things, or was there a lot of collecting of footage or planning?
I think I always spend too much time overthinking everything at first, and I procrastinate, and then it's too late, and I panic, and I have to do everything very fast. So I wouldn't suggest to anyone to do this. But yes, in the Azores, I had a very clear idea of what I was looking for. I knew I wanted to make a very telluric films with all these rocks, but I didn't know if I would find all the things I had in mind. So I was just with my cinematographer, Mariana, and every day we would just take the car and go around the island and just stop when we would see something beautiful or interesting. And yeah, that's how we caught almost everything. So I guess we were also lucky, because some of the things were just almost too beautiful to be true. So yeah, that's the way I worked during my studies. I'm trying to change this a bit from now on, and have a more I don't know, relaxed way of making films.
So we jumped ahead to a different topic, but we were...
Yes, I am extremely sorry. I don't know what is happened again and again.
We know
the first time because I
what
used...
you were saying, so you can just go on as though that never happened.
Yes, very boring issue.
By
the way,
2020, people were confined to their homes. Like
so I started to look at the footages again, and I looked at the videos of myself, and I found that it is not me anymore. It is someone else. And I found that a fictional line that the man couldn't able to sleep for the chaotic surrounding. And it is an existential crisis, because we need to sleep to be alive. And so he went to the National Zoo to sleep, because he found that this is better than his, this cage is better than his modern housing. And that modern housing looks like cage to him. Mm-hmm. This is how the story began, and I edit this version of the film.
And were you, to move on to the thing we were sort of going to talk about next, is you can just continue. We were wondering, I guess, how you work, if you have a script that you were writing, or are you working more visually, how you're organizing the filming?
Yes, I had my script always. It was scripted, but it was a long version. Mm-hmm. It is almost 52 minutes. Previously, but this time in 2020, when I edited it, I felt that I can make it much more shorter, and I can say the same thing with 16 minutes.
Interesting.
It was scripted. It was a script, but a lot of improvisation too, but not without a script.
Was there more narrative in the 52-minute version, or was it kind of withholding information?
It was focused on, much more existential crisis, more abstractly. But I think now it is much more engaging in the sense of narrative style. Yes, there is experiment, but it is much more narrative oriented now.
Okay. We know where digital funeral beta version was filmed, How many, were you working alone, or were you working, is someone else operating the camera in the 360 pan of your room, and how many takes did you do of this?
So it was only just me because it's a 360 camera, and yeah, like I was telling you that it's supposed to be a VR film.
Yeah.
So
when is the VR version coming out?
It should be actually the same thing, but like just so let's just say the film version is the version that if I wear a VR glasses, I will look at this like this. But if you wear VR yourself, so you can look it freely wherever.
Okay.
Yeah. And another question, the one before, I forget. The scripted or not? Yes. So for this film, it's quite improvised because I workshop without nothing to want to tell. I just know that I can think about it later, and then so I shot that shot in the rooftop, and then in the bedroom I shot one take first, and then we put convert the footage and look it at the computer, and then I decide to did it again. So I did only 2 take, and then I think about the concept after, and then we script it. So we write a script, and then we record the voiceover and put it back into the film and export it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. This is maybe like an afternoon almost.
Just a night. Yeah, just a night of editing. But this film is quite different from the other work of mine. Normally, I'm kind of like very fictional people. I made many fiction, but like I made 2 or 3 in a row without break, and then so I want to pause about fiction short film a bit, and then experimental some more for this one, and
Cool. Octav, you already mentioned the script and kind of customizing the script once you found the location, but do you want to talk maybe about filming in kind of maybe a bit of a more classical manner with like a crew, and how you work with your crew? How big of a crew is it, and what is that collaboration like?
I was saying that I'm an outsider to this conversation because all the films from you guys are more intimate, they're more personal, and mine has quite a complete crew with a production company, and there was quite a big amount of effort to putting it in images. But I do this usually because I don't believe in the if you are alone and you do some experiments, which I have done myself, you can let things go wrong in that particular day or something. When there are resources, when there are expectations and all that, things can go wrong, and it's bad for everybody. Things cannot go wrong, and if they go wrong, you must find a solution. And I don't believe in that on-spot inspiration. And you are there and an idea pops up and you do it, because we don't have the logistics of Hollywood to do everything that gets into our mind. And I prepared quite a bit. I had every shot listed, described. We made pictures of every shot. We made tests with the actors, with the dressing, because as I was saying, things really got wrong. Our car broke, the one that it's acting in the film. The actor had a pulled muscle when he jumped into the pool, and we had to find some other version. So that's how I prefer to work like that, with professionals and with a lot of preparation, because if things go wrong, and you have to adapt, and that takes a lot of energy, which you were thinking that you will use this energy for inspiration and creating on spot. But it's a classical way of working.
Yeah, but you did end up making a fairly intimate movie in a way, in that it's it's always 2 guys in a room or by the pool or in the car together, and it's kind of small in that way, and it is, I guess, like the other films too. There's a lot of things that felt to me kind of withheld, kind of a contextualization sometimes. Like you're very slow in giving out who these people are specifically, and one one thinks that they're one thing maybe, and then they're another. And the other films have this quality too, I think, of being not necessarily expository, and that I don't know. Yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about that, about your feeling about what one puts in a film and what one does not put in a film, or what you wanted to leave out of the film and why, that could be, I would like to know. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to. I will give a short answer to that. One friend of mine, we were at this small festival in Romania, and we were discussing about this parallel classical films, big studio movies, and art house films. But this art house, this word, looks a bit. It's not describing the entirety of the genre we are working in. So I would call it smart house film because it cannot ask for a huge audience, but you can ask for a audience that it's there with you and tries to understand what you were putting there on film. So withholding, I think it's the key to grab, to pull the viewer by their neck and make him pay attention, if he wants to, of course, or she wants to. So yeah.
Mahde is back. Hello.
Now it is.
We don't mind. It's okay if you come and go. But now where are we now? We're talking a bit about the ways in which something common in these films is where you're kind of withholding things, details. Or I was just curious about your feelings all about what to put in the film and what not to put in the film, where you decide to tell or to not tell, these kinds of questions, be it in a fictional film or in something that's more documentary, what kind of context and how one gives context. So whoever wants to, if you would, before you disappear again.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, it is not documentary actually. When I first started my film, I thought it is much more autoethnographic, something like that. But now I don't think like that autoethnographic stuff. I feel that it is much more fictional, but with experimental elements. And there is a slaughterhouse scene in the film, but I deleted it because I felt I don't need it anymore to do the film. And it is a lesson for me too, that sometimes we think that we need much more footages, but we can tell minimally too, to express our feelings through much more, with much more less sound and images.
Yeah. And then for the Azorian context, I mean, you give us some kind of a context, but it's not your straightforward.
Yeah. No, I think for me it's it's true that I revealed maybe the meaning of the film and all these events that happen only after the first half of the film. So it's true that it goes really slowly. I think it's because the film it's as much about the place as it is about the people who live there. So I really wanted the viewers to get a sense of of this the landscape and the island, the volcano, and how the islanders interact with the lands. So for me, that's the reason why it's slow.
And where did you get the archival footage, or did you have the archival footage early on or later?
No, so actually I was done with the shooting, and I found the footage way later when I was already re-editing the film. And I think I was really amazed because there were so many similarities between the archives that were shot 60 years ago and this recent footage that I had. It's almost like nothing had changed. I think I wanted to use it also to show that it's a territory that is a bit stuck in this in the time actually, and people they go through this repetitive cycle with all these natural disasters, and history tends to repeat there. So that's how the archives came in.
Yossi, do you want to weigh in on this? Maybe I guess you could talk maybe a little bit about structuring this, especially if I'm curious if you're making this as a VR piece, how you're structuring this kind of, or what you envision that as being, or in the kind of version, in the non-beta version.
So the beta version or non-beta version should like. Actually, I think the non-beta version cannot exist because I had to die first, and then I have to organize my own funeral. That version is not the beta one. So actually, it's always be a beta version, maybe version 2, version 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And what is another question again?
I guess I was just sort of wondering about how you. I mean, if maybe there wasn't, if there was some thought behind the organization of it in the shot on the roof, then the shot in the room, or instead of vice versa, or if that was sort of again just what felt right, which is also a fine reason, I think.
Okay. Let's just say for this project first. So actually, every time I went to someone's funeral with my friends, we always have like our conversation about what do you want to do with your own funeral, something like that. Someone wants, hey, Pete, feed me to some like eagle. Pete, do whatever shit. And like for me, it's like, hey, I want to show my thing, want to show my rooms, review my secret, and show my films, of course. So that is the only thing that the intention to make this film. But like back to our conversation before about what to put in the film or what not to put in the film. So back then when I was younger, I think like every time you do narrative, you have to like make only the thing that relate to the topic or make sense in some way. But after a while, when I'm into like maybe not traditional narrative film, I feel that kind of film have more freedom and they can like create some joke that not relate to the story at all. So that's why for my film, I have no need to put the French version on the film, but I like to listen to French. Like I see it as a beautiful language, so I just add it on for no reason. Or maybe actually my film no need to like have a joke, but I always happy to see people laugh. So I want to play some joke about the filmmaking stuff. And when I did this film, it was the Oscar season, and before that Bong Joon-ho have this speech, and I feel it's good thing because people know about Bong Joon-ho, and like if I use this joke, people will understand easily than more than I use someone not so popular like him, something like that. So so recently, I mean, you put whatever you like. Maybe it's better if relate, but if it's not relate, but it still makes sense somehow, just put it in.
Okay. That's a very free way of working, I think. Have you all been watching stuff in the past months in your various states of lockdown, depending on where you are, and through, I don't know, the internet or whatever?
I watch quite a lot actually because I'm apart for actually I like to watch film online as well, and for the lockdown period I have a duty to be a short film jury at some festivals, so that forced me to watch 40 short film, which is
40?
sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. Yes.
Okay. Where was this film festival, in Thailand or?
No, this one is a Glasgow short film.
Okay.
So actually the festival was supposed to held in last March, but in the end, the festival decided to postpone and come back as an online festival at late August.
Okay.
I watched a lot of films because I was preparing for a period of fasting when it comes to films, because since I was preparing to be shooting my feature in March, I stopped watching films preparing for shooting, and then the pandemic hit, and I had all this time to watch films because my shooting was not going to happen anytime soon anymore. So I did spend the time, the pandemic, to prepare for my feature, to watch things that inspired me in the first place for the story of the feature, and I prepared by watching. So
Do you watch a lot of stuff specifically for when you're preparing for a film, or?
yeah, I want to give the DP and the producers and everybody who's helping in making the films. I want to give them clear messages by showing them specific scenes or specific moods from other films. So I believe this is the way to communicate, because in film festivals or in funding competitions, you have to write like a director's notes, what you want to do with it, and text is literature. It has its own strengths, and but in order to express what you want to show, you have to point your finger and say, I want something like that, combine with something like this. And I did spend this time to gather my digital funeral, for the feature images that I can relate to.
And are in any of your countries cinemas open again in some capacity? In Germany, we can see films again in the cinema. But I don't know what this case in Switzerland is, for example.
Yeah, it's
in
open.
Bangladesh.
I didn't go back yet. I think the screening in Locarno will be probably my first screening in cinema.
So you'll be there to represent this group.
Yeah, no one else is coming, I guess.
I think so. Is anyone going?
Are your films going to be screened on the 8th of August or around that time?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so great. Well, I'll try to do my best to represent.
You have to answer audience questions for everyone present. So.
Okay. So yeah, we'll need to prepare a bit beforehand, but yeah, it's open, but I think everyone is still a bit careful. I don't know. I have the feeling that this situation could change from one day to another. So. Yeah, apparently it's happening, but let's see.
It's very civil. When I went last week to see a film, they have it so that, at least in Berlin, you have nobody sitting 3 seats to your left or right, and no one in the row behind you or in front of you. So it's actually kind of comfortable. You would never have any annoying people in front of you blocking you or coughing next to you or something.
Coughing would be quite bad now.
Yeah, that particularly. What is in Bangladesh cinemas?
No, it doesn't open yet. Hopefully they will open it in near future. We don't know when. And I watched your films, 3 films recently, and I'm working as a jury in a local film festival. I watched a couple of films there. And I watched short films from Batan Mandiko. He's a French filmmaker on movie. And I watched a TV series, web series. It is called Dark, a German TV series. Last couple of days, I did this stuff. Cool. It is a nice web series.
I have not seen it.
Yes.
Actually, this this period of pandemic, made me think. I was a bit pissed that we have to postpone our shooting, but I was thinking, why are we making films? People are in their homes, everybody's scared. I was thinking, what's the reason for all that? It was a question I still have right now. Why are we doing that? If not to, yeah.
Well, you have like I have a friend who just shot a film or was working on a film in Austria, and she was telling me about the kind of Corona era film shoot, and I'm curious if you will have to do this too, where there's like zones where different people can. It's like a hierarchy is even more emphasized because there's these zones where different people can go depending on their hierarchy in the crew. Is this also the case where you are?
We worked on that with the set PA yesterday, and
Yeah.
we have created entrances and exits for the extras, for the camera guys. They have to set up the camera and then leave. And you know, it's like a video game, you know, like a post-apocalyptic video game where you have to be there ready, but also not there, not to put anyone in harm's way, you know. It's weird. It's gonna be fun.
Does your film have people wearing masks, or is it excluding that?
No, it does. It will not have people wearing masks. I would use as much as I can the counter shot, so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. It's I wouldn't. If you had told me 3 years ago that my biggest fear when shooting my debut would be a global pandemic, I would be laughing. But this is it.
Is anyone else planning a film shoot currently in the pandemic, or?
Me? Yeah, but I'm just starting, and it's gonna be in the Swiss mountains, so there shouldn't be too many people there, hopefully. So, and it's gonna be a very intimate shooting, so yeah, it should be okay. But I actually had a question for the others. I have to admit that for me it was really difficult after spending all this time working on my film, letting go the idea of physical screening, because although it's a very contemplative film, the sound is quite important in my film, and it makes the experience more enjoyable. So I really panicked actually the first time I heard that it might be only watched on a small screen. So I was wondering, sorry, I hear my voice. Is it okay now?
Yes, it is okay now.
Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, so for me it was quite difficult to accept that my film might be seen only on small screens, and I was wondering how you guys reacted to this, and yeah, how you feel about this. If anyone wants to answer.
I watched it on a small screen on my laptop, but with headphones, and I was pretty close by my screen, and I had a nice experience. It's a scary place, actually. I had this sentiment of fear in that I was thinking some, extraterrestrial beings will appear at some moment, or some beings that I'm not aware of. So it was quite powerful. I myself, I'm pissed because the cinemas are gone, but we have to adapt. That was part of the question that I was asking myself during the pandemic. Why are we doing this anymore? So it's like a production cycle, you make some films, they appear on these platforms, people press a button on their remote, they watch it, and next day they want another. It's like food, it's like a production cycle, and that's it will change the art form, I guess, a bit.
Mahde, do you want to talk about this? Because you also have a very lush film and visually.
Yes.
The black and white and the contrasts.
Yes. About Spirits and Rocks.
Or your film? How did you feel
my
about
film.
your film being watched mostly on small screens?
Yeah.
Okay.
At home.
How do you feel about that?
Yes, it is all right to me.
Yeah.
Even you can watch it in mobile phones too. But with proper sound.
Good
That's
And
headphones.
it's yes, you need sound. You can watch it in mobile, but you need a good headphones. But yes, there is always fascination to watch film in big screens. But I always I learn film, or my orientation is always in laptop, or mostly 21 or 25 inches monitors.
Okay.
Very rare. I watched film on cinema halls. I mean, only 20 or 25 times, not more than that.
In your life?
In my life.
Wow.
In the cineplexes. Yes, I watched, yes, 25 times, not more than that.
Okay.
I can count them. It is almost always in my laptop or my PC. Like even I watched Tarkovsky in my PC. So, but people told me that you need a big screen to watch Tarkovsky. I believe them. I have that. Yes.
I was going to go see one tonight, actually.
But for me, I can feel the film in my small monitors too, as well.
Yeah. Well, I have the 5-minute warning message. So, Josie, do you want to say anything about this? About seeing your film? I mean, your film, you wanted to be seen on a VR headset.
I wanted to see on the big screen so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a chance yet. So.
But it will happen someday.
Yeah.
And the films, I don't feel like the films will get old. I feel like they'll still work if they're shown in 2 years or 5 years in a cinema. Thank you for taking part in this. I was happy to have the chance to see your films and to be able to talk to you face to face through this computer. And I hope the screening on the ground in Locarno goes well. And we look forward to hearing from our representative on the ground there in a few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.